a completely new look. We are constantly evolving. So why do you think there's a need for reinvention? Have that care and consideration for people that are close to you. Hello guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time watching, my name is Glory Ifoma. Do not make it your last. Subscribe, click the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I post new videos. I've really been talking about how to elevate ourselves in 2024, and I'm still continuing in that series because the year is still starting. It's February. And today we're going to be talking about how to reinvent ourselves. Reinvention is working on an existing thing to make it have a completely new look. Alright, so when we bring it to ourselves, it is working on ourselves to give ourselves a newer version, a more improved version. That's what reinvention is all about. I'm all about reinvention because I believe as humans we are constantly evolving. Where you are now, at least the fact that you are growing, you are alive. So long as you're alive, you're growing. You're a child, you become an adult, you get old. So that's evolving. So bringing it to ourselves and what we want to achieve in life, there is need for constant evolving. And most times you have to be very, very intentional about it. That is the reason we are having this topic today, because I want us to get to our best self, our most valuable self. You can have the physical reinvention and the internal reinvention. For me, I wanted to reinvent myself this year because I feel like it's needed for longevity. I'll give you an example. I realized that I was gradually losing control of my time. I feel like everyone that I bring close to me is very valuable. So it includes giving myself completely to whatsoever need they have or whatsoever they really want. So I noticed that it was at some point really taking a lot from me because I most times or sometimes do not have my personal time to do things, and usually stressed out, and it was even sometimes affects me physically. I started working in that last year. I started my reinvention journey last year, and trust me, the process that took months for me to start working on the inside, it was till around maybe 5, 6, and towards the end of the year that people started noticing, oh wow, you're glowing, this and that. So I took my reinvention, my inner reinvention, very serious, and it took months for people to notice the changes. Started having a greater or some amount of control of my time, and apportioning time for things and time to rest, which I did not do, and time to rest which I was not doing prior to that. So I noticed that me self-wise, I was improving, and the stress level reduced, and I started feeling good and okay and relaxed and healthy and fine. So that was the reason I needed. That's an example of the sort of reinvention I'm talking about. Ask yourself, why do you need reinvention? For me, I needed that reinvention because I wanted longevity. I know whatever I was doing that was taking too much of me, consuming me, was not sustainable, and it's going to affect my health at a later stage in life if I don't take control of that. And also the experience with my mom to also make me sit and think about, okay, what do I really want at this time? What's really most important to me? And to me, what's most important as at then until now is just make money, surround yourself with people that love me, and try to live long enough for me to be able to actualize my dreams. And this means me trying to maintain a good and very healthy lifestyle. Do you need reinvention? Write those reasons down, because sometimes in your reinvention journey you're trying to step up on yourself. You might get tired, and you need to remind yourself of the reason why you're doing what you're doing. There are various types of reinvention. Some people, it might be losing weight, so that requires a lot of discipline and a lot of real good discipline, that if you don't remind yourself why you want to do it, then you will not be able to follow through. You also need to ask yourself why, to make sure that the reinvention is something which you feel is important for you, for your self-growth, and not just peer pressure or pressure the society throws at you. You're trying to do it because you want to feel better about yourself, because of you first. But there's also like two sides to this, because if this is like when it's personal, but like if you're working in an organization and there's need for reinvention, or maybe they're giving you feedbacks on like, do this, do that, you're not catching up with this, you're not doing this properly, then you need to reinvent yourself, not just for you at that time, but because you want to be a valuable contributor in that organization. I'll give you a very simple example of reinvention. There's a popular musician, Adekunle Gold. When you look at when he started his music journey to where he is now, his personal brand, you will see that it has evolved. He constantly reinvented himself, and this is common with most artists. Also, the Marvin Records, I remember when Arastar came to his label, one of the things he said is that they've been working behind the scenes for about 1 year, prepping her up. Basically, what they do is when they're signing a new artist, they try to like rebrand them. That process of rebranding is like reinvention, to make you have an identity, a brand identity. So reinvention is like you having an identity for you. You're changing yourself, making you a better version of yourself by doing things that are improving you from the previous person you were. Let's dive into it. So you can reinvent yourself physically by elevating your personal aesthetics. What are the categories that fall into this? We're talking about maybe your outward appearance. It could be, for my ladies in the house, it could be your hair, it could be your wardrobe, it could be nails. It's not like you're not doing these things, but for some reason you're perhaps not consistent. So find how to make your experiences better, so that you find all of these things more interesting for you to do regularly. You can also reinvent yourself by elevating your space, your living space. I get bored, so you always find me switching things up every now and then. That's where you come home after a hard day's work, so you want to come back and feel at home. And thirdly, you can reinvent yourself by improving in your current knowledge. That includes like learning more, improving yourself, self-development, maybe pick up some private courses to do. And like in this day and age, like I always say, especially in Nigeria, if you're living in Nigeria currently, you know what's going on. You cannot depend on a single source of income. Like your head needs to be thinking. I think this should be like a focus for almost 90% of Nigerians this year. How do I improve my streams of income? How do I have several streams of income? Because I don't think there is no income earner this year whose income has not been affected one way or the other. Talk about even the biggest organizations. They're all feeling the heat, and they are all like planning and having all the strategies and trying to look for a way to overcome the economic turmoil and just like to improve themselves. If they're doing that, what about you? And one way in which you can do that is by like acquiring knowledge, skills. I was having a conversation with my brother the other day. Oh my god, I literally was sitting at his feet and taking notes. I spent the whole night. He had to travel the next day. I spent the whole night. We stayed up from night till about 5 a.m. when he was supposed to leave that day in the morning. Like his flight was 7 a.m. flight. He did not sleep. I did not let him sleep because I was so hungry for knowledge. How can I do this? I want to do this. Like, how do I go about it? I know you know, so teach me, show me. So I held him, and he stayed awake the whole night, telling me and showing me, and I was taking notes. So you should hunger for knowledge. I think like that's the one of the best ways to invent yourself. You listening to my video, you're acquiring knowledge for the things you don't know merely by listening to me. So it could be like it's inexpendable, you can get it, but it's about the intentionality to know that you need knowledge to be able to scale up, to be able to transform some things, to be able to change. I earlier talked about an organization. If you're an organization and they're complaining about some things you're not getting right, and you need to reinvent, like I said, reinvention is basically just changing yourself to an entirely new person, a new, better, improved person. So you can pick up skills. You cannot say no. This time around, you're not doing it for you. You're doing it for, you're still doing it for you because you're working in an organization. And if you're succeeding in that organization, you definitely grow. So in as much as you feel like you're doing it for an organization, you're also doing it for you, except you're not interested in being an organization. So sometimes by default, mainly by you working in an organization and you're having negative feedbacks on your performances, there is just an automatic need for you to reinvent yourself, for you to scale up and elevate yourself. And how can you do that? By acquiring knowledge. Number four, and which is where I'm going to end for today, it's about the internal reinvention. Reinvention takes like time. It's not something you say, I want to reinvent myself today, and tomorrow you wake up and you're completely changed. No. This transformation is a process. Life in itself is a process. Life, you're constantly evolving. Like, you're evolving, you're changing, things are changing. So it's a process. When I talk about reinvention, not something that's automatic. Like, you move gradually. Talking about like, if it's the physical reinvention, you can just wake up today and like, my hair, I just need to be doing my hair, and you wake up and go and do your hair. But the internal one, especially for those that have gone through like traumatic experiences, it takes time. Sometimes you might not even know things are changing until like you wake up, boom, one day you're surprised, oh wow, I've moved a whole lot from there where I was before. So internal reinvention is like for those that have gone through experiences, like maybe you're struggling with self-confidence. It's like being conscious about it, owning it, and like literally telling yourself, yes, I can do it, and waking up every day and deciding to move on from any negative experience, feeling, or emotion you feel like it's tying you down and stopping you from being your highest self or your highest worth, or from you experiencing your highest worth. So that is it, and it's a process, it takes time. Anyways, guys, so I hope these tips have been very helpful. This is the best time to reinvent yourself. Like, people need to just reinvent themselves, especially because things are fast changing, so you need to like feel good about yourself in one way or the other, because you need it for you first. Until next time, it's your girl Glory. Do not forget to do that needful, which is to subscribe. Click the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I post new videos. Bye.